The next C string function is concatenation. And this is going to add a string to the end of an existing character array using that \0 again. Because frankly, it's going to know, hey, the \0, that's where I start adding my next string. Let me show you. First, the function is strcat, string concatenation. And again, notice it's destination and the original. So, what I have here is two strings. One is goodbye, in quotes, nothing crazy, drawn below, right here, goodbye, with a \0 at the end of it. Notice there's plenty of room. Next, I want to make sure it's perfectly clear, is cruel, but notice we have a comma, we have a space, cruel, and then another space. Okay? We do string cat. We're going to put it into string 1, whatever was already in string 2. So we're adding string 2 into string 1. So starting with our first \0, coming from left to right, or starting from index 0, we're going to go ahead and add that comma, that underscore, that space, our cruel, our space, and then our \0. Okay? I can also do this with a literal. So notice after I've done this one, I'm going to add a literal world. Notice there's no spaces in front, none behind. There is an exclamation point. I'm going to put that into string 1, which is already this. So now I have goodbye, cruel, world, \0, and it happens to fit perfectly. And by the way, I did that on purpose. Okay? That's how string cat works out. Now again, notice each time it's looking for that first \0, starting from index 0 all the way to the right, and it'll start adding from there, and then at the end, it's going to put that \0 back there. So be careful about it. So I have two exercises for you on this one. We'll go over the first one together here in a moment. I want you to try it out, and you can use the answer as an example array. I need you to draw it out so that you can see what's happening, no matter if we're using C strings or normal strings or the newer strings in C++. I need you to visualize what's going on. So we will use that here to answer our one question, and then after that, it is some coding. I want you to do some coding for the last one here, but again, let's focus on this first one here. I'll go over an answer, then I'll go over the second one, and we'll go from there. So number one, you're going to determine what answer will look like after the code below. You don't have to code anything. All you're going to do is draw out, and yes, you might have to do some erasing and stuff like that. Some things might get changed here and there. So just a heads up, that's what I want. You're also going to have some other character arrays in there, or strings, C strings. So you may want to draw those out as well, just kind of like I did here. So there's a lot of drawing involved in this. That's fine. Keep it that way. Go ahead and get started on that, and I'll be back in a moment, go over and answer with you. So the first two lines are nothing that we haven't done already. Goodbye and cruel. Notice the same spacing, same everything. But answer is of 40 characters. So I'm going to go ahead, we're using string cat, and yes, I underscored or bolded the cat because yes, I do change it to CPY if you didn't happen to notice that. I'm going to put string 1 into answer. So far, and I'm cheating on this one, answer is going to look like this one. It's going to be goodbye with no comma in there yet. It's going to be a \0, and the rest of it is just garbage or blank. That's so far. Then number 5, I'm going to add string 2 to that, which again looks exactly like what we had up here, but the \0 will be here, and then from there on out it is just garbage. Then I string copy. So be careful. I am putting CPY there. So I'm overwriting what was originally in string number 1, and I'm putting Lupoli, which is again Lupoli, that \0. Now I'm putting that Lupoli \0. I'm string concatenating it back into answer. So now what I'm going to be able to do is what you see below is that goodbye cruel underscore, I keep saying underscore, but it's a space, and now Lupoli as part of your answer. So that's how that gets all situated when it comes to concatenation. The next part is code. Is it going to take you a little while? Yeah, maybe a little bit, okay? There isn't anything I haven't covered before either in this set of notes or maybe arrays or something like that. But honestly, this set of notes, you should be able to do it from here. You're going to use cin, create the code for the user for cin of last name and first name, create the code to combine the two into one variable. Now, be careful, by the way. Well, I don't think my instructions are super clear for number 2. Is that, do I want to combine them and then put a space in between? Or do I really want to combine the two? Literally, Sean Lupoli would now be one word, Sean Lupoli, okay? So be careful with the instructions. I'm not very clear here, so we're going to find out one way or another if I meant to put a space in there or not. For now, don't worry about the space. You know what? Let's do it this way. Don't worry about the space, but you should be able to figure out how to do the space. How about that? We'll go over an answer here in a moment, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So my answer did have putting the space in between. So notice, I made a mistake on that. The left side is using cins, which I asked you to do. For right now, ignore the getlines part, okay? You'll notice the overall, we're doing this very methodically. We are setting up the array names, we're gathering the values from the user input, and then we're string copying or catting into our final answer, which is going to be whole name. So notice, I string copy whatever the first name is into whole name. Now, why did I use string copy? Well, because first of all, whole name was empty, and I'm going to have to put it in there just to make sure that it's in a good spot. We copied over because that F name is going to have that \0. Then from there on out, I can use concatenation because we know F name is going to have that \0. We add the space to it. Notice, by the way, I didn't put a space \0 in there. Okay, it does it automatically because I'm using string cat. Notice L name. L name gets thrown in there as well. So when we go ahead and spell it all out, literally, you'll notice I have a space in between. Again, if you didn't put the space in between, that's not your fault. Like I talked about it already. It would just be Sean Lupoli crammed together all as one value. And that's okay. That's all right. So again, notice very, very, step-by-step approach when we do this. The other items that are out here in couts and sadly got put into another line here is just to make sure that, hey, we're doing things right here, okay? 7 happened to be, now again, that's if we put a space in there, would print out the U. The 5 was exactly where the space happened to be. And then 30, which we didn't use, was garbage. Literally, that's a garbage character there. So that all makes sense. Now, I wanted to show you getLine. GetLine is another way of grabbing those values. It's the same idea as using cin, except for you can, frankly, say how much of the characters you want to grab and then the \n. Again, I would put 19 for these, and I'm going to put in 19 because remember that \0 needs to be in there as well. Now, by the way, for a first name, 20 characters, yeah, that's pretty legit. I mean, most of the first names we're going to have is going to be definitely less than 20 characters. 20 for a last name, again, in most cases, it is going to be pretty just fine. I had one student, by the way, the last name was 42 letters. It's crazy. But anyway, that would break something. Let's put it that way. Here's another reason why we moved to C++ strings. C++ strings, we don't have to worry about the size. It takes care of all of that sizing issues for us. But back in the old days, this is me with my cane, I had to worry about the size of the array, especially for that \0. So I wanted to show you how to do it with getLine, which is the exact same thing as cin. Either it's going to grab the first 20 characters in this one, which again I'm going to change to 19, or the enter button, throws it in there, and then notice the code is exactly the same for either one. So just a heads up when you're seeing getLine and cin.